Hello everyone, my name is Adreden and we are in 7 Days to Die. This is my world where I test sort of endgame bases. What we're going to do right now though is not an endgame base. It's sort of a small little base that is a pool essentially, and it is an interesting kind of base because of the way that it slows down zombies. Alright, well anyways, let's get started on this thing. Okay guys, so to build this base, it's fairly simple. I mean, you can just kind of go ahead and do something like this. And basically it's just like a pool of water that is surrounded by some blocks, and you can do some interesting things, like even as it is right now. Alright, so here's our good old friend Arlene, and you can see she's walking very, very slowly. This is the gist of this whole base. I can basically run circles around her. Yeah, anyways, let's get into building a much larger one of these guys here, okay? So like I said, I'm going to build myself a slightly larger one. And all I'm going to do is basically just cordon off this entire center of this area here. And I'm just going to build it in creative, because this is sort of the point, is just to show what can be done. You know, by the time you're, oh, I don't know, well, if you get into, I don't know, day 80 or something, you should be fine. Build something out of concrete like this, but you could build this out of wood and you'd basically be fine. You just won't want them to kind of bunch up on the edges. We'll show you that in a second. But yeah, so I'm just gonna lay down a foundation and then I'll be back. And then we just fill her up with cement here. I'll just take a second to do this. And here we go. So that's all done. I'm gonna leave that in there for now, and I'm gonna put an edge on this. Of course, you can make a wedge edge out of anything. Oh dang it, I'm gonna have to rip that one out. Maybe I won't. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably have time before the Horde. So basically, yeah, we just go around this whole edge. You can do it however you want, but I recommend putting like some kind of ramped edge up so that those zombies don't end up breaking as much of that. And so basically it's just going to be me laying down all this area like this, so I'm not going to subject you to all that. I'll be back in just a second for you guys. Okay guys, I'm just sort of finishing up these silly little ramp corners, so and I'm just gonna do a little bit of upgrading of these. I don't know, I just figure, yeah, it looks nicer this way. That's just my personal opinion. So next we move on to filling up this whole thing with water. Now if you have a lake near you, you can do it that way. It's gonna suck. You're gonna need your forge. I have one up here, and if you're new to the game, I mean, you know, I would want to cover pretty much everything. You just want to, of course, make your forge. I've got a tutorial on forges if you want to check that out, but you can look up how to make a bucket, which is just some forged iron. So just melt some sort of irony thing like these guys in here, melt them down, and eventually you can make some forged iron. So anyway, you find some water somewhere. To make this work, at the very least, you're gonna need one little bit of water. Basically, like if you, let's say you just found some water, we're gonna slop that sucker right up. And we'll just go over to this corner. You can do two different things. Now you can, if you have a lake, of course, you can bring all of them in here and you can dump them. But if you want to use a glitch, there must be a glitched body here too. Anyway, you can quickly, like very quickly, double press the right mouse button and you get some of your water back. It's like a water duplication glitch, and it could save you a lot of time. It's kind of hard to say. Sometimes it works really well. Other times it really doesn't. So, you know, it really depends on what's going on with everything. It does seem to leave a little bit of water every time, but that water is a little bit glitchy. Anyway, my point is, you fill this whole thing up with water, and by the magic of editing, I'll be back in a few minutes with a brand new filled pool. Alright guys, so here's just a little bit of what's gonna go on here. We'll get ourselves our friend Arlene. in her nice dirty dress. Should get all clean in here though, but it won't. So anyway, you can tell that she's moving very, very slowly. And we can just take her out. Let's get a feral version of her. There we go. So, ferals run way faster, but in here, it doesn't really matter. I can walk just as well as she can run. So, and then I can, of course, run and go all the way around her, or she can really do much of anything. So, that is sort of the basis of this here, quote, base. I don't know. Pool base, whatever you want to call it. And then just kind of have to finish them off. Okay guys, just to remind you, you don't have to build a pool that's like above ground either. You could, like, in theory, say take this little area and dig it out and fill it with water, right? Or extend something off of a lake already, you know? Something like that would work just as fine. I'm not quite sure. I did it on asphalt as well because I know asphalt has really high explosive resistance, but on the other hand, most of the time in the early game you won't actually have to deal with that big of a problem, you know. It's not going to be a big deal. In this world it is set to over 1000, but I'm actually on the game stage, I don't know, 160 or something like this. Pretty low. I'm building it up so you can see some of the powerful end game bases that I've come up with anyway, or that other people have come and, you know, built. So anyways, I will get all of that done. Yeah, see you guys in a few hours on Horde Night. Okay, we're back, and what I wanted to do is to basically just show what it's like on a Horde Night. I'm not actually sure exactly how this is going to play out, but we'll just do a couple of bits of film here and just show you guys you know, what some examples of what you might expect from this base are on Horde Night, if you do choose to do such a thing. So, sky is red, it's all ready to go. Let's just wait a couple more seconds. So this will probably change a little bit in Alpha 17, because sometimes they get stuck jumping. I'm assuming they're going to fix that part of the AI and maybe the collision system. I don't really know. I haven't heard anything specific about that one. Here we go. So like I said, the game stage is about 150. There we go. That's good enough. So let's just... I just wanted a couple of guys over here so that I could show you what happens when they come this way. Oh, hello. Because, let's see, they get stuck in there. Oh, hello. But this is the main... Oh, there's some water missing. This is the main show right in here. So, let's start fighting them in here. And as you can see, the base works pretty well. It slows them down a lot. You can kind of just pick and choose. And now I was kind of thinking that this might be interesting to show you what happens at the end of the game. But this isn't exactly an end game base. I'm sure it would work fine. But I mean, when you have a lot more cops around, I need to have some beer. There we go. Yeah, so like when you are in the end game, you know, things are a lot different when you're fighting big old nasty feral zombies. It is really dark. Let's see if we have a flashlight. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, middle of Horde Night, we're doing all right. I mean, there's a lot of zombies in there that we have to eliminate, and this will probably get filled up. So I'm going to try to kill a few, and we'll see how this pool reacts in a few moments, shall we? Okay, so here's a vulture actually coming in. You do have to watch out for that. That's going to be an interesting thing. And so I would say that, you know, I've already noticed a few spots where there must be a dead zombie somewhere. It's you know, you just get a little more stuck. But that's why shouldn't be like your total area of defense, right? It just would be a bit too, you know, worrisome if this was your only area to defend yourself. It is kind of interesting to fight the zombies this way, because they slow right down. You get a little bit of a breather, you know, kind of fun. Okay, so there's only one other little area that I did here. Is I went and I made one of these little dugout areas instead. I just did it in the dirt, so that was pretty quick. But in theory, you know, you could use something like this as well, where you don't have to build all that much. Die, bird! Not good. Here we go. But see, this is what's going to happen over here. A lot of these guys seem to get sort of stuck up against the edge in Alpha 16, which is a bit unfortunate, but hey. But yeah, down here, I mean, it works just as fine. There's no tricks under the water. It's just straight up. They are just slowed down by the water. So there's no hay bales. There's no barbed wire under the water to conceal anything. So, oh gosh. Yeah. Simple. And yeah, this seems to work pretty well, but you can't leave them there forever. It would be a decent little break. Oh, that bird. Infected and freezing, so you're gonna have to watch out for that too. Yeah, but I mean, that illustrates my point, right? That this is pretty much how this base works. It's fairly simple. And at some point you will be wanting something different, because it's not designed... Oh yeah, see, I'm definitely getting stuck on bodies now. Plus I'm like frickin' freezing, so... I'm a little bit cold. 1 second. Okay, and so yeah, you can totally just like, you know, get them all lined up and mow them down too. Because I figured I should show you this kind of thing. You know, if you got the bullets, but really, you don't really need to, right? Just sort of, you know, fire into this terrible group of zombies here. And, yeah, or you can be a little more measured and just take your time, line up your shots, be a little more smart with your bullets, because really, in the end game, you have to kind of wander quite far to get a lot of these resources. Oh, there's a spider. Good. Let's see what happens. So spider zombies don't really get out oh, much either. Ow. You need a beer. And probably a first aid kit. Okay, so when all is said and done, you do end up with something this size, losing a fair number. I don't know. I'm gonna just guess 30%. See? Like that. The zombies do start to go, you know, those corpses start to carry up onto one another, and you lose a few. But all in all, it seems to work pretty well. You just have to be careful. Occasionally you run into a spot where there's a body. Dogs are fine. Spiders are fine. Yeah, see right there I got slowed down. It's because there's so many bodies. So this is probably a good way to spend, you know, the first chunk of your Horde night just for fun. And then, I don't know, you can have your other styles of bases to run to afterwards and just sort of finish off the Horde night. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and share with some friends. And if you are new to the channel and like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to make sure you get all the notifications. And if you want to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon. And I will see you in another video. Bye bye.